To it is that I had written on the agenda that we were going to approve the minutes of the December meeting that had been canceled. So we are not going to approve those minutes because there was no meeting. And the November meeting minutes, we will get done and approved for our February meeting. That was an oversight. And I will make sure that that is done for February. So if there are no objections, we will, with the exception of the removal of the approval of minutes, we will run the meeting as stated on the agenda. All right, so first thing on the agenda is the discussion and possible vote on the time period that applications will be accepted. So in December, we had closed the application acceptance period. At that point, we had not received any applications to date via mail, being handed in, or electronic. I'm sorry? Oh, sorry. And so we, at this point, that remains true, which we had closed the electronic acceptance, and then no other applications came in via mail or in person from December to now.
I had the application here on the day of the last meeting, so I messaged Rick and said I have a paper copy, should I hold on to it to the next meeting? And Rick said, please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
And so what we will discuss today is when we want to reopen the time period for accepting applications and how long we would like to leave that time period open for. And would like to hear what everyone's thoughts are.
Are we expecting anything else? Has anyone heard from anyone else who said they're interested, or?
So I know from the health department, we will submit one for the Sandbox Initiative. It was just I was not going to be the only, as someone sitting on the board, I wasn't going to be the only one to have an application in.
Okay.
So it is filled out, ready to be printed or submitted. So I know from us, we have one forthcoming. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, we'll put one in.
Okay.
All right, so we want to extend it for a month, or do we need to extend it for 2 months?
A month should do.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable accepting, yep.
Can I just ask a question?
Yep.
My question is about, so we're opening up maybe again, but why can't it just be open? I mean, I understand there might be a stop for approvals, whatever, but can't it just be open now? It's open until we need it to stop?
So right now, we only have a certain amount of money.
Right. There's been none, right?
Yep, so rather than putting us in a position where we are looking that we don't have, where we're looking at so many and then have to start turning people away because we are now then in a deficit. But so that's kind of what the point of this meeting is to figure out exactly how we're gonna do it, how long we're gonna leave it open for. That's why we're all sitting here. And so if we say we're gonna leave it open for a month and we see what we get for applications, and then in a month we receive 3, 4, 5 applications, and then we review them and we still have funds available, then it stays open.
So is there a date then for moving on purposes, selectmen or whatever, some meeting that we need to close, that's what I'm wondering.
So as of right now, no. It is this committee, we will sit and review all of the applications. The next thing on the agenda is the discussion of kind of our procedures and laying out exactly how this process goes, so that it is in black and white exactly how things are gonna go forward, so there are no questions. And so just so everyone's on the same page and there's no misunderstanding about anything. So if we think where applications were initially anticipated for December, in theory it's been a month since December. If we give one more month to our February meeting, and then start reviewing in February, I think that's more than appropriate. So we'll say, for this situation, or for this time period, we'll say open till February 12th? Or do we want to say open till the 11th, which is the, or, what is the day before the meeting, the Friday before the meeting?
9th.
The 9th, so do we want to say it's open till the 9th, so that we have the weekend, and then we're not accepting anything that day?
Yep.
All right, it's open till 2/9/24. We'll get the electronic open tomorrow. First thing in the morning, so what is today? So 1/9 at start of business. And we'll close the electronic at close of business on the 9th of February.
Do you need a motion?
That would be great.
All right. Move to reopen application submittal deadline to February 9th? Is that the date?
Yes.
For the purposes of reviewing and considering.
Second.
All in favor?
What date? February what?
9th.
Friday?
Yes.
Okay, what time?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Passes unanimously, so we will open tomorrow, the electronic at start of business, and it will close on February 9th, close of business.
Okay, close of business, got it.
All right.
Got it.
Where
So-
will we find the electronic application?
It will be on our website, so if you go to abingtonma.gov and go to government, on the right-hand side, about halfway down, it says Opioid Settlement Committee. Also on the paper application, there is a QR code that you can scan. Distributed in your packets today is a one-page document. It's the mission statement, background, and procedures. We had voted on the mission statement back in, I believe it was April of last year. So no need to reread that, but the background, the funds allocated to the town of Abington through the settlements with opioid manufacturers will be distributed in support of applicants' prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery efforts. Those wishing to support the community through efforts related to prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery in response to opioids will be awarded funds through the town of Abington by filling out Abington's opioid settlement funds application. Anyone may apply. All responses will be reviewed by the Opioid Settlement Fund Committee. Guidelines as laid out by the Massachusetts abatement terms will be followed. Abington's Opioid Settlement Fund Committee is made up of volunteers who work in the community and provide education, recovery, and assistance. Members of the group include Abington's public health nurse, public safety official, Abington Senior Center and Veteran Service Directors, and community members who have been impacted by opioid crisis through their personal lives or careers. So also in the packet is the abatement terms. So linked on the website will also be these abatement terms. This is something that we have to follow as well as everyone who is applying for the funds.
Are there terms to the seat?
Hmm?
Are there terms to the seat?
No, Adam.
You're,
No, Adam.
okay, thank you.
You're here forever. And then, no, it's in, I believe in April.
Okay, thank you.
And then procedures. So applications will be received by hand, mail, or electronically. And then this is something that we can decide on a rolling basis or by deadline as established by committee based on finances available. Applications will be reviewed by the Abington Opioid Settlement Fund Committee members, and the guidelines as laid out in the Massachusetts abatement terms will be followed at established meeting dates and times. Awardees will be notified by phone call and in writing of Abington Opioid Settlement Fund Committee decision on application. And awardees are to follow up with committee at predetermined intervals to be determined once award is granted based on scope of project, amount awarded, to discuss the ongoing effort, success, needs, concerns, etc. So this is something that I felt we needed moving forward, especially going into when we're going to start actually moving forward with awarding this, so that we had a concrete plan in place and more of a structure so that we could refer back to. Any feedback, changes, thoughts?
It's a dumb question. How do we amend this in the future?
So the abatement terms is something that comes directly from the state. So this is, the abatement terms is nothing that we can amend. If the terms of, the abatement terms are changed, this is something that would come down from the state.
Okay, so this is largely something that's kind of a boilerplate that the state's encouraging committees to?
So this, the abatement terms is state, this is.
No, this one pager, yeah.
This is something that just going forward that, yeah,
Okay.
we should just, the committee should have as, hey, this is what we're doing, why we do it, and how we go about getting to the results that we have.
Okay.
So if it needed to be amended in the future, you know, the committee as a whole would vote
Okay.
to amend it.
Who put this out and when?
This was the abatement terms that we had been emailed to us all back when we first were.
Okay, so it's the same,
Yep.
okay. But it came from the AG's office?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know this was adjusted to reflect the process as it's now being rolled out, so.
Yeah, so this was, they, at some point over the last summer, this is what the state has to follow, then the local has to follow, and so while the local's following it, it was suggested that we pass it on to the awardees
Yep.
as rough guidelines so that everyone's following the same blueprint. And then the last two pages are just the application. Just another copy of it. Feedback or thoughts? And is this something we want to vote on? Do we want to sit on and think about?
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Move to accept as printed?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? All right, so we will accept, or we will adopt the mission statement, background, and procedure form as stated. Next on the agenda is any new business that we want to discuss? Anybody have any new business? Anything? No?
So come back in February with 3 new applications.
All right. Public comment?
I'm assuming like it's gonna be made public, how the money's awarded, right?
Yep. Yep, so on the website, it will be posted, and again, as part of the procedures, we'll have the awardees speak to how things are going and or how things went as follow-up for both, you know, future awardees, kind of just for what went well and what could go better. In the world where I am, we call it a hot wash or an after-action review, depending on how far out you are from the event. But it's a good way to step back and look at everything. And so I think it's a really good thing to be able to take programming and different designs and different groups in town and be able to see, okay, so the health department, you know, we're gonna do the sandbox initiative. So we're gonna reach out to businesses and put these sandboxes into different, with Narcan into different businesses. What went well, what didn't go well for us, you know, for the police department, whatever your project is, what went well, what didn't go well for you, and that way, you know, next year, when different applicants go in, they can say, all right, so hey, we watched the health department do this. We actually want to build on that. We saw that they kind of lagged in this area. So to improve on that, this is our idea. And so it kind of will give building blocks for future projects. And to be able to make that information public is a huge growth opportunity for the community and for the entities that are being awarded. So. All right. Any additional public comment? All right. So our next regularly scheduled meeting will be Monday, February 12th at 3 p.m. Something to think about going forward at our February meeting, discussing just a change in the Monday schedule. We had a member of the committee ask for that to be discussed at a future meeting. All right. And with that, if there are no objections, we can now adjourn.
Official.
Do I have a,
So moved.
Second?
all right,
Aye.
3:15, the opioid settlement meeting for January 8th is adjourned.